Welcome to your Barbados Today evening update for Friday, May 19. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. The Democratic Labour Party political candidate for St. Michael Southeast, Rodney Grant, is not on board with his party's recent criticisms of social activist and attorney-at-law David Comissiong. Some government ministers have blasted Comissiong for filing a lawsuit challenging the construction of the controversial Hyatt Hotel, with Housing Minister Dennis Kelman labeling Comissiong as an enemy of the state. But Grant, who is also a leading social activist, says dissenting voices are good for Barbados and should be heard.
It's unfortunate that this particular situation has gone to the point of without words. Maybe we should have engaged voice before it got to that point. But I don't think that in a modern society we can ignore the fact that you will have differences of opinions for whatever reason.
Grant made the comment while delivering the weekly Astor B. Watts lecture at the George Street Auditorium this evening. He, however, pointed out that activism comes with responsibility.
Activism also must have a level of responsibility, because at the end of the day, what it is we are working towards. We're working towards a national development, a better country for all. So I would have a problem with activism if it is going in the opposite direction. If it is, instead of aiding development, it is really destroying development. But what I would say, if it is the legitimate voice of the people, then you must let it be heard. If it is the legitimate voice of the people, you can shut down opposite voices just for opposition's sake.
The Ministry of Health is investigating a suspected incident of foodbourne illness at the St. Philip District Hospital earlier this week. 30 patients were affected and one had to be admitted to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital after experiencing severe symptoms. A senior health official says all the patients have received medical treatment and samples have been sent to the Public Health Laboratory for testing. In addition, a rapid response team from the Ministry of Health is investigating the cause of the illness. Barbados now has its own fire academy. It's based at Arch Hall Fire Station, which was officially reopened today. According to officials, the St. Thomas Training Academy will provide training for local and possibly regional fire officers. Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite also assured that the upgraded station will adequately serve the island's northern parishes.
Before I forget, and I'm glad that you're here, Cynthia, because I want you to deliver this message for me. Yes, we had to close Weston, but it is unfair and uncharitable for anyone to suggest that, in fact, people in the north, that they're more at risk because of the closure at Weston. In fact, 2 tenders will be here continuously. With the academy, you'll actually have personnel here on a continuous basis, so I can assure my friends on the other side, that I'm sure Barbados generally, that in fact that the safety of persons in the north of the island will be in no way compromised as a result of closure of the Western station. And in fact, if we do what we have promised to do, which is have 2 tenders here continuously, have the requisite number of staff here, then it may actually work the other way around, in that this level of service may in fact be enhanced. So I just wanted to make that point.
CARICOM foreign ministers say Venezuela is capable of settling its internal problems with some mediation. As they wrapped up the 20th meeting of the Council for Foreign and Community Relations held this evening, the regional officials frowned on foreign interference into the affairs of the state. The ministers urged the Nicolas Maduro government and opposition forces to soften their positions, to open the door to dialogue so the country can move past this crisis. They also condemned the violence and the loss of life and property, while stressing respect for the rule of law, human rights, and democracy. In sports, the West Indies today called up uncapped fast bowler Ransford Beaton to their 30-man squad to face Afghanistan in the 3-match T20 series next month. The tall 24-year-old fast bowler has so far played 36 T20 matches, with 31 wickets, including best figures of 4 for 9. Test keeper Jason Holder has been arrested after a grueling battle against Pakistan, which saw West Indies lose the Test, ODI and T20 series. Chairman of the selection panel, Courtney Brown, says after the T20 series against Pakistan, they opted to keep the same squad to continue developing younger players. West Indies, the defending World T20 champions, say they will not take Afghanistan lightly, especially since the side is pushing hard to be granted Test match status.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
When it comes to your family, what do you dream of? Enjoying the sights of Italy, seeing the Eiffel Tower for the first time, or experiencing the cuisine of Spain? Courts can make your family dream come true. Shop at Courts for a chance to win a dream cruise for a family of 4. Spend $999 or over at any Court store or online at shopcourts.com. Every $100 gets you a chance to win that cruise to give you more fun time with your family by cruising the Mediterranean, a value of over $20,000. So stop dreaming and start shopping to make your dream come true at Courts, bringing value home.
In regional news, hundreds of residents in scattered villages in Region 8 have been left under floodwaters after torrential rains this week. A reconnaissance mission conducted by Guyana's Civil Defense Commission reported that the situation is dire, with some 600 people displaced in 5 villages. More in this report from Capital News.
The Civil Defense Commission, along with the Guyana Defense Force, has been activated to assist those flood-affected residents in Regions 8 and 9. This is according to government's chief spokesman and Minister of State, Joseph Harmon. Minister Harmon was speaking at his weekly post-cabinet briefing. Already, water levels have risen to the point where some houses have been flooded away. This is according to reports coming from those areas.
Kaibarupai, that is in the North Pakaraimas, that the village was under floodwaters. It was reported that the entire village was flooded with water between 12 to 20 feet high. The village has a population of about 100 persons, and a request was made for food and clothing. In the village of Waipa, the report was that the Tusha of that village reported that the approximately 95% of the village was flooded with water between 5 to 15 feet high. The village has a population of 329 persons, and requests is also made for food and clothing. At Sand Hill, report was that it was underwater and the water was rising in the village. At Chinapau, the report from the chairman there that 10 houses were halfway flooded and 1 was swept away. The population is about 591 persons, and request was made here for food and clothing.
On the international front, prosecutors in Sweden today dropped their rape investigations into WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, who sought refuge in the Ecuadorian embassy in London 5 years ago. The move is a victory for the 45-year-old Australian who released classified and embarrassing documents from the United States to other countries. But the prosecutor's decision does not mean that Mr. Assange is in the clear. In Britain, he still faces a warrant for failing to appear in court, and the Metropolitan Police in London said on Friday that they would arrest Mr. Assange if he were to try to leave the embassy. Moreover, the Justice Department in Washington is said to be reconsidering whether to charge Assange for his role in the disclosure of highly classified information.
Today is an important victory for me and for the UN human rights system. But it by no means erases 7 years of detention without charge, in prison, under house arrest, and almost 5 years here in this embassy without sunlight. 7 years without charge, why my children grew up without me. That is not something that I can forgive. It is not something that I can forget.
And that's news and sports. But for the very latest, visit our website, www.barbadostoday.be. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals and screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Or you can tune in to 96.9 FM. That's Mix 96.9 FM for more news and sports. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Do have a fantastic weekend.